So last night we got the third episode of Miss Marvel. The show just keeps on going. This episode definitely stepped it up a little bit. This episode stepped up the stakes. It opens in British occupied India, 1942, and we get introduced to our threat of the show. The sorry if I get the names wrong, guys. The Jinn, I think is what they're called, and they're investigating the bracelet. The I think it's called a bangle that Kamala is wearing, and that's who the lady is at the end of episode 2 with Kamran, who was on a date with Kamala. They come to Kamala. They tell her, "Hey, we are from another dimension. We want to get that bracelet off you and get back to our dimension." And there's definitely more going on within them that you can tell because you knew right away that these guys were the villains. I mean, I definitely wasn't fooled as soon as they came on screen. I knew they were the villains. But what was interesting about Miss Marvel episode 3, when they established the threat, when I knew that they were establishing the villain of this season, I thought the season was going to change a little bit because so far the season has really been focusing on Kamala, her relationships, her everyday life, her culture, just all that stuff. I thought that they were going to pivot and make this a real, like, superhero show. And what I liked about episode 3 is it didn't abandon the roots of what I've been enjoying about this show so much. Yes, this is still a superhero show, but the superhero aspect of the show is almost secondary. The family aspect are what they put first. And I really am enjoying that a lot about the show. And now they're starting to balance that out with the superhero stuff. And I think they're doing it very well. This show just has some of the most authentic, genuine, real characters I've ever seen in a superhero property. I can't speak for the Pakistani culture aspect that they're bringing to the show. Obviously, I can't. But it feels so authentic. It feels so real, and I feel like I'm learning a lot more about that culture that I really knew nothing about before going into this show. And that was not something I was expecting coming into this Marvel show, getting from this show. Even with the superhero stuff that's going on in the show, they never shy away from the family aspect. And I loved the conversation that Kamala had with her mother, talking about their dream was to come to America. They found their family in the Moscow with their faith, with their religion. The brother had a wedding this episode. They had this big dance number. It was really awesome. It was really enjoyable. It's just a fun, light show in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the reason it works so well is because of, first of all, this cast is just killing it. They are just doing so well together. They have such great chemistry. I totally believe that they are a family. I'm getting way more invested in the Kamala and Bruno relationship. I'm actually starting to root for those two to get together quite soon here. And Kamala, I think, is going to have a real Peter Parker-ish kind of superhero journey to her that I'm really going to get on board with. I started to see the seeds of that in this episode. It's been building since the first episode, but I really like her as a hero. I'm so excited that they got this character so young because I cannot wait to watch her for years to come. I think that she is the next MCU superstar for sure. And of course, they didn't shy away from the action in this episode. We got an action sequence as the Jinn are coming to Kamala because Kamala has made it clear that she's not really willing to be part of the Jinn, which are apparently like evil in her folklore, in her culture. So they come to this wedding, they crash it. We get this great actually chase scene of Kamala and the Jinn, and they're trying to get Kamala, and we get some more use of her powers. We see her use her powers a little bit more to fight back. And at the end, one of the Jinn, they grab Kamala by the bangle and they get this vision of a train together. I have no idea what this means. I love that this show is still keeping a mystery aspect to it. They answered one mystery and now they're just leaving us with another, which I think is great. And then by the end of the episode, she gets a call from her nanny. Her nanny had the same vision, and now Kamala's got to go and see her. So that's definitely where we're going to go in episode 4. And when it comes to the third episode of Miss Marvel, I think this is the strongest third episode of the Disney Plus Marvel shows thus far. I can't think of another episode in Marvel that had a third episode because Loki's third episode wasn't very good. WandaVision's was good. It was the Halloween one, I believe. But this one just kept the momentum going from the first episode, the second to the third. I think this could be the best Disney Plus Marvel show by the end of its run if it keeps up this momentum. I'm just loving it. What do you guys think of Miss Marvel episode 3? Did you guys have a good time with it, or are you guys jumping off this show? Comment down below. I want to know all your thoughts and opinions on this episode. And without further ado, let's see what you guys are saying.